Hi everybody, and welcome to another little tutorial, little video that I'm going to share with you. Today we're going to make some backgrounds, but actually they're not just backgrounds, they can be the focal point if you want. And what I thought we'd do today is we're going to use stencils and Brusho powders. So a few things to say first. The Brusho powders, so these come in pots like this. Remember, these are pigment, the full pigment powders. You can mix them with water and then paint with them. My suggestion is, although they have a lid, that you can actually take the lid off. I would suggest leave the lid on, because if when the lid's off you spill it, you're going to lose all that wonderful powder. And if it gets wet, you will just have paint everywhere. So my suggestion is get some of these little notice board clips, make a hole in the top and keep them in. They travel well like this. I take them to workshops. I'm a bit funny actually. I like to have, where as possible, the same colour clip for the colour. So obviously I've got a red one for my scarlet, and that's my leaf green, so obviously I've got a green pin. And then in this one, which I assume is yellow, yeah, I've got a yellow pin. It's just the way I am. You know what I'm like. I have these funny quirks. But then we all do, don't we? Well, I hope we do. I hope it's not just me. So today I'm going to use some stencils from AALL Create. This one works really well, and it's called Bouquet, and it's by, that always makes me laugh. I don't know if you ever used to watch Mrs. Bucket, Mrs. Bouquet. Anyway, if you don't, you won't know what I'm talking about, so just ignore that bit. We'll edit that bit out. So this one's designed by Fiona Partridge, and this is the Bouquet by AALL Create. Fabulous stencil. You can just put ink through it, make a fantastic background. It's great if you need a quick card, brilliant for birthdays, get well. It does have the writing on. And the beauty of this is you don't have to use the writing. I'm not going to use the writing today, but obviously it's there should you need it as an extra. When I do these techniques, I know I keep saying it, but I do like to do quite a few of these in one go. So I do make sure I've got plenty of card at the side of me. So what we're going to do, I'll stop rabbiting on and show you. I've cut my card ready. And I've cut it just so that I don't want the lettering on. I'm afraid I'm going to have to turn it to face me. Now, you could tape this down. In fact, I wouldn't normally tape it down, but the fact that you're watching, I suppose I better do it properly, hadn't I? So what I'm going to do is actually just put a little bit of tape over there. I'm not going to tape my card down, because like I say, I wouldn't normally. So I'm going to start adding the Brushos at this point, and I've just got a rough idea sort of where I want them, and I want the darkest of colour on the roses. It's not essential. Take the pin out, a little bit of tap, and I'm just putting a little bit of red in the centre. Hope you can see that. Then the next colour, I'm going to go for my green, and I'm just going to tap. It's a bit like sprinkling your salt and pepper. So I'm sort of heading for where the leaves are. Again, I'm trying not to put too much. If you overdo it, it can be very strong colour. Now I'm going to take the yellow. I've got these flowers here, so I'm going to go for those. I mean, obviously, if you've used Brushos before, you'll know we're going to add water, and these colours are going to really pop, and they will mix and merge. So just a bit more yellow. So they are going to mix. So I'm just sort of adding the colours roughly where I want them. It isn't essential. It's not important. I'm going to add some water now. And obviously just watch the colours as you spritz. And they will separate. The thing about Brushos is each colour is made up of lots of other colours. So they'll separate and give you a nice So look at that. All that fabulousness. I have put quite a lot of water on there. I am using a card that will take water, so try to have one with a low chalk content to make sure it will take water. I'm not worried if I have added a lot. It may go under the stencil. I'm not worried about that because I'm just making backgrounds, which I will show you. The next bit is you could put a piece of kitchen roll over this to absorb what's on there, but why waste that background? So we're going to take another piece of card, and we're going to just press that on. This piece of card is purely to mop up, but I'm hoping if it turns out the right way, we might just have a background there. So let's see. Yes, love that. And I love that nice wateriness. You could dry this with a heat gun, but my gut feeling is let it dry naturally. You will just get a much better result. Now, I'm actually going to put another piece of card on here, simply because I did put that much water. I do think there could be some mop-up still on here. And again, it's only a piece of card. But I love making these backgrounds because I put them to one side and they're always there when I need a quick background. Yeah, you see, very faint, but I like that because sometimes you do want backgrounds that are just literally in the background. So we'll put that to one side to dry. I'm going to take my tape off, discard that. Now, I'm going to lift the stencil off and that will reveal. Now this one's very wet, that one. That's a very wet background. So again, I'm going to put that to one side. And what I'm going to do is lightly spritz the stencil, very lightly. I'm just going to do it off camera. I've got to be careful because Eric, my Labrador, is just under my chair here. So bless him, I think he's just got a bit of a water spray on him. But he's fast asleep, to be honest, so it doesn't matter. I've wet the back of the stencil and I'm going to take it and place it on another piece of card. Now this one, we may get a good result, we may not. Depends really how much ink and water is left on the stencil. I'll just mop that up while I'm there. I'm using my dirty craft rag just to press it down. So, let's see. Yes, again, just put that to one side. Look at that. Now, I like that as well. The thing is, with these backgrounds, you'll find there are some you prefer more than others. So you've almost got degrees of, if I can bring all four in, let me see if you can see them. Degrees of how much Brusho you've got on them. And for me, that makes a difference of one I would use as a focal point. This one's probably my favourite. This, I've got an idea and I'm going to show you what you can do with that. I know it's a bit sort of messy, but you can put the stencil back on and make a lovely card out of that, which I'll show you. These two I love because for me, these are the arty backgrounds that I could then put another flower on or just a sentiment, a butterfly. You don't need a lot. And when you want that background, I've got to be honest, I just adore these. I'm just going to dry my stencil because I just want to show you. So with this one, when it's dry, pop your stencil back on. Let me work out which way it was. That is funny because that's the hardest bit often, isn't it? I think that, was that it? No, that's got to be over there. That was it, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't want to press it because this one's wet, but you pop your stencil back on and I used a Sharpie pen and went round. I tried my fine liner and I've got to be honest, it didn't work well. So I went with a Sharpie pen and I can show you how that came out. So this is the one. So this was my first one. And as I say, look at all the water here that seeped under. But that didn't matter because when I put the stencil back on and went round with my Sharpie, it highlighted the shape. And I've got to be honest, I love that. I added, when it was dry, some Posca, little white splats of Posca. If you haven't got a white Posca pen, you could use white gesso or white paint. Just flick it on. A sentiment, an AALL Create sentiment. I think that's from one of Tracy's, possibly Hope or Eclectic Stems, one of those two. I think, I'm not sure. And this is, again, another AALL Create stamp. Just a little sort of dragonfly there to finish that one off. Went round the edge with a Sharpie and a ruler. And for me, that just makes a lovely card. So that's my suggestion with your first one. And then this second one here, my suggestion is you don't need to do very much with it at all. Again, just pops the little butterfly or dragonfly on, sentiment, and I added some more splats on the card, or flicks of paint, I should say, flicks of Brusho, just to bring the whole thing together. Now, I don't know what you think, but I mean, I just love those. And again, it took maybe 5 minutes and one application. So you use so little of your Brusho powder. So all we did, put the Brusho powder on, and we've got 4 of the backgrounds. So 4 cards. Works well with lots of other stencils. I had a play yesterday with the wood, I think it's called wood pile. Do you know, I don't know where I've put this, anyway, the stencil from AALL Create. And I'm sure it's called something like wood pile. I've just tidied it away. That'll teach me, won't it? But these were the backgrounds I got. And again, going to have great fun using those. I have very quickly made one of them into a card, just because I thought the tree sort of wooded background goes well with the owl, and the owl's off. I have kept this stamp set to one side so I can tell you. So this is Owl You Need Is Love, and that's by Olga. So I hope you enjoy this. Like I say, I just wanted to show you the technique with Brushos and stencils. As always, I hope this little video inspires you. I hope you have a go. And if you do, please tag me in. We have a Facebook page, if you're on social media, called AALL Create Fanatics. And if you're on there, I'd love you to do some work with your stencils and your Brushos and post it on there and tag me in, because I do love to see what you do. It really does make making these videos worthwhile. So that's it from me today. I'll leave you with those to look at. Have a lovely day, everybody. Lots of love and hugs. Bye for now.